in that narrative made that person who is a first year not graduate like the others 2 years down the line. That is something that is common. I have seen it in universities. We will leave it there. Professor will pick on from there to tell us on the next steps.
Thank you. Good afternoon. For those who don't know me, I'm Ivy Nyanduko, a 4.1 student taking English and Literature. Honestly, I don't know what to talk about. The topic is about love and relationships in campus. I'm not going to say I'm not in a relationship, and I'm not going to say I'm in a relationship. I'll just leave it there. But what I'm going to say is, I'll use the word involved. I'm involved with someone who
Interesting. Interesting.
Okay. She's saying she'll continue.
Currently, I'm involved with someone who has been with me since I joined in May 2024. I met the guy in September the same year. He has been with me ever since until he finished school January. Every step, every challenges I've been through, every struggles. What I can say is about relationships and my current one. The key goal there is communication. If I am having challenges, I talk to him. He's my key person. He's my number one, 911. When I'm having challenges, I call him. He's the first person I call when I need some advice before I do something. I first ask him before I do it. So if anyone, I know almost all of us here are in a relationship. If you want yours to grow, communicate with your person because he's your person. At this time, I'm not going to say he's your partner because you're not married or anything. He's your person. So communicate with him. Thank you.
I'm Ojambo Oscar Uma. I'm an English literature student. And for me, I'll be realistic about my experience with love or relationship. I've been through, I think, I can say many relationships. And currently, I'm in one. And what I can say about this young relationship, young love, I learned something out of it. This is that you should never be sure about anything. Anything can happen. at any time. In fact, the worst time is when everything is okay, everything is wrong. When you think that your relationship is straight, going like it's very clean, just know there is something wrong. That I've learned from all my past relationships. When you see you are cool, everything is good, you're being, okay, for me, that one is a red flag. You're being cheated on because I've experienced that. You're just with someone texting, but behind they're texting someone else. So for me, what I can say from this young love, I'll call it that way, young love. For me, okay, my principle, I told myself, not until I get married, I'll be doing this. I'll be in a relationship the way I am right now. I'll give it my best. When my partner or the one I'm within the relationship, when she follows, okay, like be straight with the relationship, I'll go with her that way. But I'll not put my mind saying that this is the one I'll marry. No, I don't know that. That I don't know. Because many people are hurt outside here. I've seen that. On Sunday, then on Wednesday afternoon, I realized I was interfering with someone else's relationship. So, something about love, just don't be sure about it. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Thank you so much for that honesty. I still have about 5 minutes. I will invite Dr. Ben to say something.
Okay, good afternoon. Okay, me, I'm supporting Joseph's point. In fact, I like how he has expressed everything. I support him. And also the other guy, they are very much right. Relationships in campus, they are not fruitful. Maybe one or two, because even me, I was once in that situation. And in fact, I was in second year. I was involved in a relationship, but the guy repeated. But for me, I failed like 6 units. So I had to do a soup. And that made me to not to attain the grade, the first class grade. So I can say that a relationship in campus, I've just seen like 2 or 3 people who have at least proceeded to marry. But for me, they don't work. Let us just concentrate on whatever brought us here. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I always tell my students, my transcript has an E in my best subject, mathematical physics. And that E, it usually attracts very nice conversations when I attend interviews. So I'm very grateful to Dr. Ben. We are not superhumans. What Dr. Ben has said, I hope it's helping someone. Dr. Mwabel.
I've just come in. I think I'm trying to catch up. Now let me let me say something about my experience. But it's not much. Relationships in campus, as others have said, some work, some don't. When I was in campus, I was not involved in a relationship, but I spotted somebody. So when I left, ndio nikarusha ndoano. Akiwa campus, mimi nikiwa nje. Fortunately, ilishika. So nilikuwa nimemwacha na some few years. So I don't know whether now I should support or not support. Or you can identify and try your luck. Sometimes it works, sometimes it may not work. In my case, it worked, but I had to work very hard. It almost failed. Thank you.
Thank you for those I stories. I stories. Iris, we need gender balance. Okay.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I'll just give a suggestion although nimefika kama mmesonga. And from what Daktari is saying that about the relationships in campus, I'm hoping I'm in the line, is that yes, the 4 years that I spent in the university, yes, things happened, and you know, you are growing, and as you grow, you'll realize that life moves on and you take different direction. Yes, I was in a relationship, a very good one and serious one. Na tulisaidiana sana kusoma, and I can say that actually, let me say that the research that I did, because in our program we did some project, alinisaidia sana with the coming up with the proposal and also project data analysis and everything. And when I finished, it finished earlier than me, and then we took different directions. And you see, I'm here now because when I finished school, my first job was here, and I'm still here. And left the country. So you find that you're in different worlds, you choose a different direction, and that's how. But you find that things are going, you talk, you assist one another, but nyinyi mko hapa, the relationship that is there. Unapatana na mtu leo, kesho hata ujui jina yake ilikuwa anaitwa nani, si ndio? So as you grow up, you'll find that there are some that work, others will not work. So you choose wisely, but you are still growing. Thank you.
Finally, let's get a comment from one of the directors. Thank you. Dr. Mlinge. Dr. Mlinge has nothing to say for now. As I set up the podium for Professor Mbutu to come, and now we have set the context, he's now going to speak to us. As I set the podium, I will invite Glenn. He had a spoken word. Please use the mic as I set.
Umenizoea. I also wrote one on depression. Actually, this one talks about it's sort of somebody going through something triggered by another thing, which is not really good at the end. 3 a.m. Friday morning. The world is fast asleep, but she's wide awake, turning and tossing with her mind, bulging with wild thoughts, laid with worthlessness, hopelessness, helplessness. Then, shh, her thoughts come to a standstill. She feels every silence gnawing at her, and at this moment, she realizes how alone she's been in all this. The girl behind the mask, she winces as she tries to lift her head. That monster of a headache is back again for the 3rd time tonight. She reaches for her bed and pulls out a handful of crumbled packs of painkillers. This has been her life for the past 2, no, 5, no, 7, 9 months. She lost count. She pulls her tired self to the kitchen to get a glass of water, but she's greeted by a suffocating stench coming from the dirty piles of dishes. She's been trying to clean up the mess, only that she's been stuck in bed for the past 5 days, curled into a ball, bodies soaked with tears, body numb with aches. Maybe if she takes a few more painkillers, a few more sleeping pills, she could have some sleep for at least 1 hour, if not forever. And alone, depression is the reason why she sends people away, not because she doesn't want them, but because she doesn't deserve them, reject them before they reject her. Depression is the reason why she comes to church late and takes the back bench and leaves immediately after the grace. Is the reason why she comes to yesterday, called the day before it's the life of not in a society where depression is a sign of weakness, a Western disease for the social misfits who can't learn how to face their challenges. And so that everybody else, she feels with we handle us needs you by your side. And if not she will catch the flame that burns within you, and she will tell you how it feels like to have your body, soul, hooked to a thrown down in the deep of the earth. Morning and lastly, again, societal constitution. The reason why Jesus is here today, the people of God, Jesus stood again. So, ladies and gentlemen, depression is never
ile stuff zinataka iko mbali sana na wewe. Unadai kwenda concert. Nimkaribishie. Kadai kwenda kumkaribishia. Nani? Link. Cleaner. Chikia. Sikia vizuri.
Vice Chancellor, members of the university management, members of staff, dear students, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It is both to me a privilege and honor to stand before you today at this important hearing here at the University. I'm deeply grateful for the opportunity to speak to our students and staff on a topic that touches every human being, regardless of age, background, or profession. Healthy relationships and dating in campus. We have heard the stories of the three students in front of collaborated by WhatsApp and staff, I would say. And I want to demystify some of the things that we go as healthy relationships, dating in campus. Campus life is one of the most transformative stages of human life. It is a life that you must enjoy. It is a season of grief, identity formation, emotional discovery, intellectual growth, friendships, ambitions, and preparation for the future. It is during this period that many young people form relationships that shape not only their university activities, but also sometimes the rest of their lives. And today, I do not simply wish to speak about dating. I wish to speak about wisdom, character, emotional maturity, or what I would call emotional intelligence, dignity, respect, purpose, and the kind of relationships that build the people together rather than destroy. Some of the relationships that we imagine about are relationships that destroy people. And as we begin, allow me to share this important statement. A healthy relationship will never demand that you sacrifice your future. And I want you to bear that in mind. A healthy relationship will never demand that you sacrifice your future, your dignity, your peace, or your purpose. And to the extent that I can hear the lacuna in their state, they didn't want to admit that they are involved in a relationship. Let me speak about understanding what is a relationship. What is a relationship? A relationship is a meaningful connection between two or more people based on interaction, communication, emotions, trust, and sharing. Just talk about communication, which is a very key component of relationship. And therefore, relationship can be family relationships, they can be friendships, they can be professional relationships, they can be membership relationships, and they can be romantic relationships. And then today, our focus is on romantic relationships and dating within campus environment. What is dating? Dating is a process. And when we say something is a process, we say that it is not a one-time event. That is where you hear someone say, I was in one, I was in two. To the extent that you can make the statement that he has made. It is a process through which two people intentionally spend time together to know each other. How? Emotionally, intellectually, socially, personally, with the possibility of a deeper commitment. And a commitment that I think one of them said that we don't even that. What is it? Healthy dating. Healthy dating is not a competition. It is not a status symbol. It is not a financial transaction. It is not a form of control. It is not a tool for manipulation. But healthy dating is about respect. It's about mutual understanding. It's about emotional growth. Both of you must grow emotionally. It's about shared values. Values are the things that we cherish in our life. It's about personal respect. Unfortunately, many people enter relationships for the wrong reasons. What are those reasons? Fear of loneliness, peer pressure, financial benefits, physical attraction alone. Imagine that this one I will never see another one in life. Social media influence, desire for validation. Let me say this: when the foundation is weak, when you are forming a relationship, when the foundation is weak, you are forming a relationship on that weak foundation, the relationship becomes unstable. When purpose is absent, confusion enters the game. You are doing a relationship without a purpose. You are just doing it because you are alone. Because of peer pressure. Now, what is the foundation of our healthy relationship? Here we are talking about our healthy relationship, a sustainable relationship. What is the foundation? One, the first foundation is respect. Respect is the backbone of every healthy relationship. What does respect mean? Respect means valuing another person's dignity, listening without communication, honoring boundaries, and I want to talk about boundaries, speaking with kindness, appreciating differences. And a person who truly loves you will never constantly embarrass you. While you are judging, you will not be judging the other person. You will not manipulate you. You will not insult you, will not threaten you, or degrade you. A person who truly loves you. Some of you have already said that this thing called love. Therefore, let me say this clearly to our students. Love without respect is emotional imprisonment. And love without respect is emotional imprisonment. And that is reciprocal, both sides. And therefore, you should never think in a relationship where dignity is constantly attacked. You are passing your dignity, our worthiness. The second ingredient of our healthy relationship is trust. Trust is confidence in another person's honesty, integrity, and reliability. Without trust, there is suspicion. There is fear. There is insecurity. There is emotional turmoil. But trust is built slowly through honesty, consistency, accountability, and transparency. Those are virtues that are very, very difficult for us to maintain if we don't respect the other person. And once trust is broken, trust takes time to rebuild. It's like credibility. When you lose trust in a person, it takes a long time for you to believe in them. The third component is communication. And this is very important. As counselors, those who are counsel people, family, relationships, even relationship between a boy and a girl, communication is very critical. Communication is the lifeline of any relationship. Defined differently, it is the lifeblood of any relationship. The moment you stop communicating, you are announcing death in the relationship. And therefore, many relationships do not fail because people stop loving each other. They fail because communication is stopped. Communication is stopped. What does healthy communication involve? Healthy communication involves listening actively to each other. You listen to one another. Speaking truthfully. Managing conflict maturely. You don't go, gossiping and you don't want to fight with other people. Because the ones you are gossiping to, what you are telling you, the weaknesses of your partner or your friend. Now we take that as an opportunity to snatch that Expressing feelings respectfully, avoiding insults and emotional attacks. One of the greatest signs of maturity is the ability to disagree respectfully. Why do you think that we should always be the one on the right? Disagree respectfully. Put it another way. Disagree agreeably. Yes, here we cannot. Here we cannot agree with what you're saying. We cannot take. I cannot take this position, and therefore let's agree on this position. The quality of the relationship depends greatly on the quality of the emotional intelligence. Is another virtue. Emotional maturity. And don't say that you are too young to be emotionally mature. And of course, let me imagine this from psychology. Girls mature emotionally before you. You might be dating a girl of 16 or 18 when you are 25, but you are emotionally immature compared to that girl who is mature. Emotional maturity means managing feelings responsibly. And an emotionally mature person controls their anger. They have no rejection wisely. You don't have to anger yourself when you take poison. Have no rejection wisely. Like this gentleman. You take responsibility. Take responsibility. Apologize sincerely. Respect boundaries. When someone tells you, you can't go beyond it. Respect that. Respect those boundaries. And you need to set boundaries. Men and women. Even the guy there are some thousands of people who want to protect their spaces and avoid manipulation. Emotional immaturity destroys men campus relationships. No wonder some of us will even say, when you form relationships in campus, it's never. And therefore, some students become possessive. They demand constant attention. They spy on partners. They declare themselves harm after breakup. Someone writes to you and tells you, I'm going to harm myself in the next 5 hours. If you reject. They use guilt as manipulation. These are not signs of love. These are signs of emotional instability. So they should live a to you and in a relationship with somebody who is emotionally unstable, who is not intelligent emotionally, and therefore you should start taking precaution. Let me speak about self-worth and identity. Before entering a healthy relationship, you must first understand yourself. Self-discovery. You know who you are. What is self-worth? Self-worth is the value you place on yourself. You don't walk around as a worthless person. There is a time you always value yourself because you quantify who you are. And if you don't value yourself, this is what happens. You may tolerate abuse, you may settle for manipulation, you may seek validation from others, or you may lose your identity, try to impress others, and you're impressing everyone and anyone. Students of Open University, hear me clearly. You do not need to destroy yourself to prove love. You do not need to compromise your values to feel accepted. You do not need to lose your dreams to keep someone. Because a person who truly values you will never ask you to become less than what you are meant to be. Someone who loves. Love, defined in another way, is seeking the highest and the best of others. When you're in that relationship, is that person seeking that for you, or they want to manipulate the one? And therefore, many people confuse attention with love. And for girls, please, many times when we give attention to some of the boys, they think that they're in love. And vice versa. Attention does not need to love. You can keep attention, you can give someone attention because you care, but you're not in love. And therefore, attention is not always love. Possession is not love. Control is not love. Obsession is not love. Therefore, you need to make clear in your mind that when you are giving attention to somebody, it doesn't mean never. Therefore, true love brings peace, growth, stability, and encouragement to God. Now, what is the realities of campus dating? Here we are not talking about hypothetical things. I don't want to speak about hypothetical issues. We are all going to campus. What are the realities of campus dating? Campus relationships can be beautiful and meaningful. Very beautiful, meaningful, productive, depending on how you construct it. And the make lifelong with friendships and marriages begin in the university. Begin in the university. It's just depends on how do you manage that relationship. However, campus life also presents unique challenges. And some of those challenges, and I don't want you to think that it is so, meaningless to form relationships on campus. No. There are relationships that are work, but there are couple challenges that we can think about. One is peer pressure. Some students end relationships simply because everyone is dating. That is why you date. And somebody is not here, it's just giving you attention. So never make life decisions because of pressure, because you are single. Being single with peace is better than being committed to confusion. Who said that you can't be on campus and you are single? You are not related. Within and without. What is your life goal? The second challenge is financial manipulation. Some relationships today are built entirely on money. And this creates dependency, it creates exploitation, loss of dignity, emotional imbalance. You're in that relationship because this young man can afford to buy you or to meet your financial. A relationship built only on financial gain rarely survives so, and therefore, students must learn independence, responsibility, and self-respect. When you are admitted to Lukenya University, you are not admitted as a group, you are admitted alone. Your admission letter as your name on it. And therefore, the way you care, try to organize yourself. If your friend comes and walks away, well and good. But remember, the way you care is the way you go. But the question is, how will you live campus? Today we are grappling with social media. The other challenge is social media pressure. Social media has created an unrealistic. People compare their relationship to carefully edited online images, which are not true. Fake. They are fake. Remember, social media highlights. It just gives you highlights. It doesn't give you reality. And therefore, you not destroy your peace trying to perform for the internet. I know most of us always see on the phone as you walk around. The other challenge is academic distraction. Some students lose academic focus because of our digital relations. They miss classes, lose concentration, experience emotional instability, and finally they abandon their goals. Never allow relationships to destroy your purpose. Why did you come to university? What purpose do you have in life? And I would say, this person may have a relationship with, who's causing a lot of contribution to you, rarely will they value for you. Check whether the relationship you are in is supporting your life purpose. You came to the university primarily to build your future. And remember, it is your future. And a relationship that destroys your destiny is not a destiny. And therefore, guard against whatever you are doing. These are additions to your life, to your future. But if they are coming as a destruction, as you look at your future goals, share them all. Who said that if they are not in a life, in a relationship, they are not? Let me talk about toxic relationship. Toxic relationship. You need to recognize relationships that are toxic, relationships that are dangerous, even if you are understand. What is a toxic relationship? A toxic relationship is one that is constantly harming you emotionally, mentally, spiritually, even physically. You cannot sleep. This fellow is calling you all the time. Sending you a message. Why are you not responding to my message? Who are you with? You seem to be interested in someone else. What are some of the signs of toxic relationship? One is constant issues, emotional manipulation, extreme jealousy. When you are seen walking with another young man with another guy, you are not watching the crowd. Extreme jealousy, violence, or threats. I guess there are students, many students who beat their girlfriends. And even sometimes when you go and cook for them, they wash their clothes, they are given time to do that. I'm not talking about the university, but that could be happening. I'm talking about other university. It happens. Excessive control, isolation from friends and the family, fear and intimidation, and lack of peace. That is a toxic relationship. When you are not yourself, you are living for the other person. And the person that you don't know how your relationship is. Allow me to speak directly to the students. Abuse is not love. It is never love. Violence never prove over affection. Control is not romance. And no one has the right to harm or physical. And therefore, if you're in an abusive relationship, you have a way out. Seek help. Speak to mentors. You have talk to counselors. Reach out to trusted leaders and protect yourself. Silence can be dangerous. Don't keep silent when you are in an abusive relationship. Let me speak about boundaries. What is consent? You know, everything that you need consent. Consent simply means clear, voluntary, informed, and mutual agreement. When you agree with something, you consent. And every relationship requires mutual respect for personal boundaries. What does no mean? No means no, and no is an answer. Does it have another meaning in some countries? When you say no, does it simply mean no is a different, or does it mean yes? No means no, yes means yes. Irrespective of where you are coming from. And therefore, silence is not consent, pressure is not consent, manipulation is not consent. A healthy person respects another person's position, limits, and boundaries. If you are a healthy person, you need to respect your friends, decisions, their limits, the boundaries they set, and their conflict. What are boundaries that we have to set? Boundaries are healthy limits that protect us or protect our emotional well-being, personal dignity, mental health, values and beliefs, and the physical safety. And therefore, students must learn to establish the communicated boundaries confidently. When you get into a relationship, have you ever told this person, these are the do's and the don'ts? You can't go beyond this, or you can't go beyond this. Have you set those boundaries? And they are set on the basis of your emotion. How you value yourself, your personal dignity, your mental health. And I must say that boundaries are not signs of weakness. They are signs of self-respect. And the people who respect your boundaries respect your humanity. Respect your humanity. Mental health and emotional well-being. We cannot discuss relationships without discussing mental health. I want to remind you that heartbreak is real. You get broken at many times. Emotional pain is real. Loneliness is real. You'll be lonely. Rejection is painful. And you will experience that. But what is the solution? If you go through heartbreak, emotional pain, loneliness, sometimes you might experience depression, anxiety, emotional trauma, self-low esteem. And when you go through that, how do you manage the emotions? And when you are going through that, you need to be very careful. Those are the moments that you can confidently turn to substance abuse, self-harm, you go for the rock to harm yourself, destructive behavior, withdrawal from life, etc. As I speak to you, students, the emotional health matters. When your emotions are disturbed, you cannot achieve anything. Never suffer in silence when there is a community. Seeking help is not a weakness. Seeking counseling is wisdom. Speaking up is courage. So don't suffer in isolation inside. And on the start of the faculty of medicine of Lukenya University, continue creating safe spaces where students can access guidance. Now, speaking to this, let's continue creating safe spaces for students where they can access guidance, they can access counseling, they can access mentorship, emotional support, and the mental health services. A healthy university community cares for both academic excellence and emotional well-being. We cannot equally underline academic excellence at the expense of emotional well-being. What does it mean to date with purpose? Dating with purpose means you are intentional, you know your values, you are protecting your future, you are pursuing emotional maturity, and you choosing growth or passion. My core phenomenon is to choose relationships that inspire, encourage discipline, support dreams, respect values, and build your confidence. A wise relationship is one that will make you better, but not better. And therefore, what is that relationship that will build your purpose? Will strengthen your purpose. As you go through life, there are some virtues that will always go with you. You need to take care of how do you develop your character, your values, so that you can be a good future leader. Students are located in university. You are the future leader. And this is not a statement that is made. It's a fact. You are the future leader. Some of you will populate this university in the next few years. You are the future engineers. You are the future doctors, entrepreneurs, lawyers, researchers, leaders, parents, and national leaders. But what will make you to be that future? Your character today will shape the society of tomorrow. And I'm not speaking like a politician, I'm speaking for the people. You are the one with your character that will shape the future of our society. The relationship that we enter into, they reveal our character. How we treat people matters. How we handle people matters. How we speak to others matters. And important, integrity matters. Kindness matters. And in a world where people normalize disrespect and exploitation, in that environment, choose integrity. Integrity is a virtue, is a character trait that is valued in every uprightness of us. Integrity. And you can begin that being a student of integrity, and you become a teacher, an engineer, a doctor, and such a parent of integrity. Therefore, as I wind my conversation with Lisa, as we walk up at this hall today, May you choose a relationship that heal and not destroy. Relationship that build and not break. Relationship that push you towards greatness and not towards it. And you may know again this part is the quality of your relationship will eventually determine the quality of your life. You enter into a relationship and you feel this relationship is destructive to me. It's better to walk away. It's not expensive. It needs to be a relationship that is support, that is beneficial. It is building you towards your future. You're not looking for a future, but a future that you must calculate work towards. But the moment you enter into a relationship, you feel that this relationship is draining me from my future. You better walk away from it. You better run away as early as possible. And therefore go and become emotionally intelligent. I hope I'm speaking to people who are listening. Go and become emotionally intelligent. Go and become responsible. Go and become a person. Go and become a generation that proves that love can still be held respectful, peaceful, and meaningful. Love is a God creation. Therefore, you should not blame God for creating love. But it's not the love that is abusive. May your campus life produce not only successful graduates, but also mature men and women of character, men and women of integrity. And this nation, the one is looking at you. You are banking on you. You are the future of our society. And therefore, may your future relationship become a source of joy, strength, peace, and destiny. Thank you, and may God bless you.
Thank you so much. I'd like to invite students proceed the way up program. But there's something I would like to communicate with next week's meeting. Next week, if you check on that pamphlet for flyer we distributed, you can see what we shall be focusing on. But before we say that, there is something where I have worked before. There is someone who taught us about this call. I noticed even when we have meetings, a colleague brings a call and puts it there, and then begins as someone is speaking. So you were taught something about people who are usually on call. It is disrespectful to the person who is speaking. And this is what we were taught. It is courteous when you have to find your phone. I've noticed especially leaders are very good at that. They don't have their phones. They have done them 2 hours of practice. I hope I'm speaking, there's an answer. It is wrong when someone is speaking and you are on the phone. It is disrespectful. It does not teach good manners to our students. If you have had your phone, including students, this is the practice. We were told, put it upside down, closer to where you are. It shows that person that your focus is not on the phone, but what they are talking about. It's good to speak all these things out, because this is the place we create leaders that will transform Kenya. There is something that students have been sharing with me in the counseling office regarding this topic. And probably the VC might address that when she comes. Students came to me talking about cases where they may get an F or a friend belonging, their friend got an F and blaming a lecturer. And they kept pushing this matter towards issues about friendship. What I wanted to have been telling our students is that Lukenya University has a deliberate process where your grades are checked. So I thought it's important to say it here, because the many students who came to me with that kind of confidence, I think there is need for you to know, before you sit any paper, any exam, the lecturer sets that exam. It is moderated in the department. Then after moderation in the department, it is subjected to a lecturer who comes from another university to look at it. So the exam that comes to you, it has gone through a process. So do not have that feeling in mind that a lecturer is penalized, because it goes through a thorough process before you are given. And the paper that you finally do is a university exam. Now, this is what happens when a lecturer marks your scripts. The lecturer cannot give you a grade. They mark what you have written in the script. And that is not the last time those scripts are looked at. What the lecturer gets, it goes through departmental checking to ensure the scripts were marked according to the marking scheme. And it does not end there. The university has a process. It takes those grades to an external examiner who also looks at them. The grade that you get has passed through all those stages. So it is not the lecturer who gave you that grade. Kindly, student leaders, treat this so that students understand what usually happens when you get your grade on the portal. It is not the lecturer who decided maybe to give you that grade. It's a process we have checked. We have the quality assurance, and the quality assurance keeps checking through to ensure things have been done. So I thought I announced that because students are now talking about it. We don't have time for your students to ask questions to our panelists and the guest speaker, but we invite this conversation to continue online. We align, and you can go to that link, put a comment, and we will respond to it. In future, we will be having the panelists pick questions, and the panelists can respond to it. Thank you so much. You are Mr. English.
Thank you very much. Someone left this looking here. I hope they will be able to. Now, as you are looking at the things of God, we are used as a community. So, relationships, maybe I say something. Where I come from, there's a folk song that says that there is a cat that seduced me until I decided to sell my planet. Now every day when I sleep, I jikunja pamoja. I think the cat was just lying good. You consider that you sell the planet at the end of the day, you'll be alone. Okay, at the beginning of the week, you got to do your formation with a student, class. That is one of the day. It was supposed to be before the last week, 2022. He's been sick for some time. And according to the family, the student will be buried on Saturday, somewhere in Sultan in some presentation house. So there are those groups that have no contribution, leaders who assist us, and also make a group where staff members will assist us. Another thing I would like to mention is, like you said, I want to mention one thing we call mental health. Mental health is when I get you out of the hostel to this place, I tell you to sit here, you carry a seat from here and pick it up. That's madness. I get you from the other side, instead of coming here, you wait and move to the other side and go back to the same place of the building. That's mental health. And I think mental health does not work. That's madness. I go to the hostel, I tell you, please come. And a few of you decide to tell your friends, lock this room out. So they lock the room from the out, especially when there are people in the room. I've written some of the rooms there and look for them later. Because I have a no way you will sleep. The only thing I don't know which clothes you wear when you're sleeping. But I know where you sleep. Like no one knows about politicians, they don't know what to do. That's madness. So there are people in the hostel, high in the hostel. You come here, the professor has been talking, and there's a few voices the other side. And they can't sing any choir. You don't have a university choir. Now here in the family. That's not the business. Others are in kept. If you have your cap on, just get it on. Those clocks don't need the here. These are the university program. If on the calendar, next time I'm not coming to the room, and I'll ask the vice chancellor, thank you. Like we did last time, get us that kit, or magic kit. It is said you miss 75% of the university programs, you don't sit for the exam. Not a single exam, it's not a unit. You can't tell the parents and guardians what you're doing here for all that. And not come again. Every day today I took example on the other side, or send the Kanun on the other side, I was there myself. People get out of the hostel, they run back to Muslim. They don't have time to keep eating from morning to evening. It's not dinner. Where people say the hotel says dinner starts from 6 to 10. Lunch is from midday to 2:30. You are still there eating. What are you eating at Muslim? Or are the students saying, you just doing up and down? You know, in my village, don't chicken one to drop some, to lay some eggs. First those chicken, you know they are not, it's not farming. You just open the doors of the chicken, roam around, and they look for where they can drop their egg. They are moving up and down. But that's how you behave. Kindly, I said I don't have to be myself, but you also have to be yourself. Lastly, I would say You feel like the beat so far. Keep taking your friends with this type of nothing. Go to your mom. I think you need to be around 500 in our class. But so far the time is fully joined then we come and all is good. Anything else you should communicate.
Sushiki kwanza nimecheka.
But
Nishikie tu
you think
kiasi.
this program is compulsory. Our continue to be here and going forth and go out.
Unaweza kisto
Thank you very much.
lakini vile vyenye mnaocho vile vyenye mnaocho watatu nashika onyesha
How are you? Just let people know what I'm doing. I'm telling you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Students, Vice Chancellor, Deans, management, everyone in the room. This is my second week in Kenya. It feels like I'm back at school, to be perfectly honest. I've had a lot of learning. I've spent a lot of time in the office. I have had some opportunity to answer some students. As the weeks progress, I aim to share more meaningful news with yourselves. At the moment, I don't have very much to say other than I'm enjoying my time here. I'm building a lot of relationships. I commend the panelists that share their stories. It's not easy to come up here and talk about relationships. Professor Budl gave a very, very inspiring talk. That discourse, for me, resonates majorly with many of the areas that I'm working in my role with my colleagues. Relationships are not just about love, they're about trust, communication, lots of words we use. And in professional life, you will find as you progress in your careers, relationship building, trust building, and working together with your colleagues is one of the most often difficult but most inspiring and fulfilling things that we can have in a day-to-day life. So part of my job at the moment is building those relationships with my team, but also with this community here as well. So I really am looking forward to growing and developing in this community, this family, Kenya University, and building the relationships to make this place with a mantra, and I use the word students first. I think it's really, really important that we're focusing on all of you lot in every area that we can. And from a mental health perspective, someone that's suffered mental health issues, I really do support anyone in that area because it is so important. So yeah, it can be quite emotional. I don't want to do my own, but I have suffered major trauma in my life, physical trauma, and I'm lucky to be up here. So I do know what it is to be depressed, I do know what it is to be severely anxious. So yeah, just be strong, basically. I'm not sure what I have to say on Miley VC up. She's been give 2 minutes per panel. And I think after VC, I think if I can ask, if I may, VC, ask the students to go with my team and staff, and then I just want to have a few words with the staff before we depart the session. Thank you very much. Thanks, staff.
Good evening. God is good. All the time. Thank you. Thank you for coming. We really appreciate you for being in this session. And we said that it's a university program. And also, the friends who have not come, just tell them that being a university program, our expectation is that they be here the way you want them. over. So what you're going to do is that we just do a 1 minute silence because of one of us that we have lost the humanity. So you can just try. Say a prayer just for the family. You are silent in your heart. Thank you very much. So be completely humble and gentle, be patient, bearing one another in love. So you go and read it for yourself, and also 1 Corinthians chapter 13. So go and read at your own time. So I take this opportunity to introduce our professor who talks to you. He gave a very, as Dr. Conrad said, a very inspiring talk, and I agree with that. Very insightful. Relevant not only to the students, but also to staff. It's also relevant to us because in our lives we keep having relationships. We keep relating with people in offices, we want to church, here in the university, you know how we are great, and apart from the way we relate to our families and family. So I call upon him to just say hi. He's a professor from Daystar University. We might mention Daystar. He's a professor from Daystar University, and he is our consultant. So we are consulting with him on many issues to help us improve at the university. Very good, Professor Kutu.
Thank you, Dr. Give me joy to be here and to share some thoughts with you. As you have heard, I'm from Daystar University. I've been there for quite some time. And when it came time for me to take my sabbatical, I looked at some options, universities that I could go, but somehow Lukenya University was one path before the next. And so that is why I'm here. I'm coming to learn as much as I share my experiences. This university was right at the level of Lukenya some years ago, about 2013, when I came back from my studies. And while I was still with this, but we purpose to grow the student population from 4,000. Now we are starting at around 10 to 13,000 students. And that is what we are covering. And I'm enjoying myself here learning and also trying to share my experiences. I've been in the university in Sweden for many years. I am still in the university in Sweden for this university. That was actually for me. But apart from that, I'm a full academician. I teach. I supervise master students and PhDs. So, in the evenings, I sit together and become a professor. I'm a professor in organizational communication. So, at one time, I worked with you to tell you how we work together. When she was working with this side. And so, in this video, and it's so glad to students, this is your life. And you make meaningful friends. Make the right choices, and you never regret. So thank you so much. And we will be right sometime. I would like maybe next semester September. Get a course as a teacher. If I don't like this for classes, I can teach you so that I can also get experience. This semester.
Shika wewe, hebu shika. Si mambo yangu.